Broadcasting and the City of Cottonwood proudly present Inside Cottonwood, an inside look at the decisions and issues of the City of Cottonwood. Brought to you by Arizona Smile Designers.
Living in a state that boasts hosting the world's oldest rodeo, Arizona is rich in cowboy history. The cultural lifestyle of the Western American cowboy has left a permanent imprint on the American Southwest, and Cottonwood is no different. Here in Cottonwood, we have a hidden gem that's called the Cottonwood Equestrian Center. With me today, I have Hezekiah Allen. Welcome, Hezekiah Allen, to the Parks and Recreation edition of Inside Cottonwood.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Hezekiah, just by starting off, can you give us a brief history about the arena?
Sure. You know, the facility was a concept that had been thought up for a long time. Probably 5 years. It had been taken to go through council and volunteers and Parks Recreation staff at the time to be, you know, developed. Jenny Wrench and Steve Wrench, huge motivators when it came to this facility. In 2006, it was built by American Fence. It's a prefert system. It's 150 by 250, the actual diameter of the facility. 6 chutes, and it's a rough stock arena.
A great facility for those of who haven't actually ever been there, Hezekiah. Who were the initial stakeholders that were involved in constructing the arena? I know you mentioned the Friends, but I mean, what other major groups?
Yeah, it was kind of cool because it was a combination of Yavapai County, the City of Cottonwood, and the Verde Valley Fairgrounds. And to my knowledge, nothing like that had been done in the past, where 3 entities had come together to build a facility. Obviously, the Fairgrounds, that's where the land is. We lease that land from them. Yavapai County, they purchased the system, and then the city manages and operates the facility.
So you had 3 stakeholders. You had land, capital, and maintenance, and the city's primarily responsible for the maintenance. Initially, when you when the concept evolved, what programs were the stakeholders thinking about hosting? Okay.
When the facility was first being built and thought of, the goal was to provide programs for local youth, local families at a low cost, and to promote the equestrian world. There's something like 12,000 horses in this area, and there had been a study done by one of the local colleges that promoted that. So the goal was to hold a barrel series, which consisted of pole bending and barrel racing, 2 times a year in the spring and the fall.
Okay, so 2 times a year. What were we looking at? How many months? You say 2 times a year. Are we talking 32 weeks a year, 16 weeks a year? What are you looking at?
16 weeks a year, 2 8-week seasons is what we would do, and it would be once a week. Typically, we ran them on a Thursday or a Friday, somewhere around in there. So,
you mentioned time trials, pole bending, and the other. Can you expound on that a little bit? Belt and buckle series. Who came up with the idea, and how did you kind of hone in on what events you were going to host in the Belt and Buckle series?
Okay. The Belt and Buckle series was actually kind of something we had coined off of Payson's Parks and Recreation Department. When I had first got here, supervisor at the time, Ron Hollis, had taken us over there to kind of walk that facility, get a feel for what they do with their program. And then it kind of grew from there.
So 8 weeks in the spring and fall. How do you coin a winner? Okay.
There's the series that we used to do, it was broke up in by time slots, with the slowest all the way to the fastest. And that, in the first 2 weeks, put you in a time slot, and then you're competing with people at your skill level that the horses are about the same, because you could have horses that are blazing fast and horses are getting a little older. It really wasn't based on age, because you can have a younger person on a really, really fast horse and an older person on a slow horse. It just doesn't matter. By separating by time like that, everybody had a chance to win. There was 14 divisions, and if you won your division, then you got a buckle.
So the prizes were buckles. Was there ever monetary prizes initially?
Yeah, not initially, because it was being ran by the Parks and Recreation Department. But as the program grew, there was a demand for that, and as we got volunteers involved, we kind of went through some budget cuts for a little bit, where we were able to pass the program on to one of the local volunteer groups, who is now called the Friends of the Arena. and they turned it into a payout program to where there is a payout.
Can you give the audience an idea of how much the community has embraced this program? Starting by, if you could just give them a brief history on how many people you had initially when you first started the first year, and where you guys are at now.
Yeah, the Belt and Buckle Series, it was a great indicator, because when we first started, we have 20 to 30 riders, and then as time goes on, like for instance, now we're getting close to 60 riders on a Saturday for a barrel series. The facility at first, it was kind of, oh, you know, people in the community, we have an arena? Yeah, it's up by the fairgrounds. And now it's become known as all the trailers in town, everybody's at the arena. So, you know, the community's really embracing it, and I think the businesses have as well, too.
Okay, you mentioned briefly that you just said Saturdays. Historically, when you did the Belt and Buckle Series, you guys would run, I think it was March and April and September and October, something like that, 8 weeks on Thursday evenings.
Right.
But now you've switched to Saturdays?
Yeah, as when the city cut the program because of funding, the program went to the Friends of the Arena, and then that volunteer base, we started doing the 8-week series, and it kind of got dropped down to 6 weeks, because we don't want to burn people out on the program. In 8 weeks, 16 weeks a year, it started to get to be a lot when you're having to pay each week for diesel to get there, loading up the horses, the money to run the series. So then what we did to help the volunteers out, we partnered with America West and NBHA through Julie Rainwater to host a program one Saturday a month. The next one is April 21st, 2012. It's 2 weeks from now. And they're doing a payout, and they run it as a 5D series.
Now, what's a 5D series?
Same concept, it's based on time, but so everybody runs, and then that sets the time divisions for the 5D, and then you compete in your division for the payouts. Okay,
if I'm someone living, you know, outside of the city boundaries, how would I register for an event like this?
Books open at 9:30, and that's at the facility. So you go in there, you'll sign your paperwork, sign your waiver, sign up for some time onlys, do your time onlys, and then the competition actually starts around 10 or noon, depending on what time of year we're at.
I'm sure there's a lot of maintenance involved. What kind of upkeep is the city responsible for keeping this in operating condition for people? Okay.
The facility itself, there's a lot of gates, there's a lot of panels, a lot of hinges, a lot of dirt work to be done, a lot of weed control. So that's kind of the main part, and then a couple times a week, we try to do 2 times a week, the maintenance staff to prep the arena, fluff it up so that people can go in there and ride.
And what would the operating hours be?
It's just like any other park in the city, sun up to sundown.
Okay, so the hours kind of fluctuate on what season it is, I assume. In the fall, it would close a little earlier, and the summer's probably open a lot later.
Yeah.
Can people just simply show up and use the arena?
Definitely, and that happens quite a bit, actually. Typically, you can drive by on an afternoon, and you can see some trailers over there practicing.
Are there times when the arena is not available? Because I'm sure people would want to know, you know, when they couldn't use the arena.
Typically, the maintenance department posts a schedule on when they're maintaining the facility, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, roughly, is what it's been in the past, where they're going to go in there and maintenance the ground in the facility. Those time periods, it's closed down.
Well, Hezekiah, that brings us to our first break. Can you give us a name and a contact number of someone that people could potentially call if they were interested in participating in the event coming up this April 21st?
You can call myself, Hezekiah Allen, 928-639-3200, extension 3215.
We're talking rodeos today, people. We'll see you in a few.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Edition. My name's Jason Little, Recreation Manager for the City of Cottonwood. With me today I have Hezekiah Allen, the Special Events and Aquatics Program Supervisor, and we're talking about horses, arenas, rodeos, and cowboys. Hezekiah, how you doing today?
Good, good.
That's great. When we left the break, we were talking about the arena times when it was available and when it wasn't available. I was up there recently, and I did notice that there's another arena up there, and I guess this is a warm-up arena. What prompted this to be built?
You know, we're pretty excited because since the conception and the facility being built, we've been able to grow each year, and this was just another feather in our cap to where we had an opportunity to build a warm-up arena. We had some local volunteers step up and some organizations and businesses step up to do some volunteering and donations as well. And we jumped on it. It's a warm-up arena. It's roughly the same size as the main arena, so we can hold barrel races and pole races and stuff like that in there. There's no chutes or roping stalls or anything like that in the warm-up arena. But yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And the groundwork was done by Pierre Mulcair and Mike Jones. They did a fantastic job. They were there each weekend getting it ready.
Now, Hezekiah was involved in the peripheral conversations as it pertains to the warm-up arena. What exactly is a warm-up arena, and why is it important to organizations and entities that host events?
Okay. A lot of these organizations these days, they're bringing in large events, very large events where one arena will not do. They would be there for 2 weeks trying to get the event done. So by having a warm-up arena, it allows them to do some of their timed events in the warm-up arena while some of the main events are going on in the main arena. It also allows, while you have like a barrel race or a pole race going on in the main arena, you have a safe place for horses to warm up before they go in, because the way a barrel race works is that they'll do one run and that's it. They get one run. So basically you're waiting around until you get your run, so you don't want to take a horse in there that's cold to do one run and bring him back out, him or her, whatever the horse is.
I guess March 24th was a big day. I, by happenstance, did stop by and I was checking it out, and I mean, you literally had thousands of people up there.
Yeah.
I mean, close to 2,000 people. I guess it was a junior or a high school rodeo. What was going on?
Yeah, it was a junior high / high school rodeo. Those two organizations combined within the state of Arizona. And through Daria Weir and her husband, we were able to get that rodeo here in town, which was, you know, a lot of cities were bidding for that rodeo. We were competing against, I forget the other towns that we were competing against, but we were able to get them. And they talk like that rodeo brings in roughly 300 families, and as you saw, these rigs are nothing to shy about. They're large tractor trailers with 38-foot trailers connected with living quarters in them. I mean, these are people have some discretionary income to come into town. So it was the 24th and the 25th. They ran both days all day, and it was a pretty cool event.
Now, I know you're in the loop with a lot of these people. For a lot of them, it's a lifestyle. Can you explain how these kids, young adults, they literally are pulled from school and they travel the circuit for so many months per year?
Yeah, these families, they invest a lot of time, a lot of money, and you know, it's like Little League Baseball on steroids. Only you're traveling around, and you got a lot of money invested. One of the things I noticed that I thought was really cool, if anybody's never been to one of these programs, on Sundays, whether you're religious or not, the discipline that these kids, they are made to get up at 7 a.m. with a collared shirt on, their cowboy hat and blue jeans, and attend church. And just the fact that they're made to get up, they're made to check their stalls, do their chores, and get to church on Sunday, I think is pretty cool, no matter if they're on the road or not.
It is. Were there any volunteers or donations that made that event possible? You said that many cities, towns were vying for the event. Who were some of the major players? I've got
a paper here with a big list. I feel like I won the Grammys because I'm going to try and name all these. If I forget your name, don't be too upset. A couple of them are Concrete Framing Systems, Prescott Valley Classics, Verde Valley Medical Center, Top Shelf Liquor, Mayhem Concrete Construction, Reddy Brothers Excavating, Devin and Tyler Pennington, Ted and Monica Johnson, SC Fuels, Camp Verde Trading Post, Cowboy Shop, Cow Ranch Western Store, Copper Star Shooting Ranch, Kiwanis Club of Camp Verde, Apache Indian Smoke Shop, Sedona Urgent Care, Ward Ranches, Cottonwood Farm Bureau Insurance, Montezuma Vet Services, Con Pest Control, Cottonwood Taco Bell, Craig Backus, Backus Construction, Friends of the Arena, Steve, Janie, Craig, Mike, Don, and Mel, Mario's Landscaping, Tiffany Construction, H&H Trucking, Bedrock Landscaping, Henry Smith, Home Depot, Ace, Pause, Breath, Nice John's, Pierre Prime Beef LLC, Cross M Blade Works, Pennington Family, Hauser Farms, Triangle Wide Trucking and Livestock. You know, we could go on and on. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know where we were going to stop there.
Right.
So if we have additional time at the end, Hezekiah, we'll get some more in there.
Okay.
I noticed that list is quite extensive.
Yeah.
I've heard the phrase good ground. I've heard it from you. And it's used a lot, I guess, in the equine world.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
You know, that's what every facility is based on. I mean, you could go to a facility and your first thought is, wow, this place is run down. But if that ground is good, you'll have people come from all over the country to run on that facility. You're talking barrel racers, ropers that have $15,000 upwards invested in a horse. And the last thing they want to do is go into an arena where the ground isn't prepped and it's not the right base, and get a horse hurt. It's not good. So we've put a lot of time, a lot of energy in developing our ground. There's no specific formula. You can't call anybody and say, hey, what kind of ground should we put in? Because they won't tell you. It's a liability. We've tried to contact organizations to find out what other people do. We get ideas. But it's been a process over the last 6 years of developing our ground, adding to it. The latest thing is we've added cinders from Flagstaff to the facility, and that helps because we were having an issue with the clay binding up and being hard to prep for the next program. So by adding the cinders, it allows the clay to not bind up as much, but you still want the ground to compact as they go around the barrel. So it's a pretty finite formula to make sure the ground's right. Last year we got the distinction of best ground in the state of Arizona, so we were pretty ecstatic about that.
What's ground consistency?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are the components?
Okay. In our arena, we first started off and we took all the rocks out. We compacted the base, and then we have pea gravel, washed concrete sand, a clay dirt mix, and cinders. And about 400 or 500 tons of clay dirt mix, about 182 tons of pea gravel, about 200 tons of washed concrete sand, another 400 tons, 200 tons of cinders. And those are rough estimates. We have roughly 12 inches of material in the main facility, main arena. Depending on the program depends on how deep you prep the arena. If you have a timed event going on, you want 4 to 6 inches of material fluffed and ready for that. If you have like a roping event going on, or a bull rough stock type event, you don't want to go as deep. You don't want a nice fluff on the top, and like I said, it depends on the program.
Well, that brought me back to my FFA class when I was a freshman in high school there.
Yeah.
Well, Hezekiah, it's time for our second break. Once again, if you could lead us in and give us some information on whom people could call if they were interested in participating in the upcoming event on April 21st.
Yeah, NBHA, you can go to their website or America West. Julie Rainwater is the one that's kind of putting the program on. Her information is also on our website, City of Cottonwood Parks Recreation Department. Hit the link, Equestrian Center, and you'll find it.
Well, guys, we're off on our second break, and we'll see you when we come back.
Meet the team at Arizona Smile Designers, offering complete comprehensive, restorative, and aesthetic dentistry. Dr. Vergara and Dr. Lord specialize in dental health, implants, and cosmetic dental procedures. Expert staff and state-of-the-art equipment bring forth the most from your smile. Dr. Ripplinger conveniently comes to Arizona Smile Designers for oral surgery and complicated procedures. Visit Arizona Smile Designers at 350 South Willard in Cottonwood. Insurance and new patients are welcome. Call 634-8610.
Thousands of fires across the United States are caused by careless people. Hi, I'm Fire Marshal Rick Contreras with the Cottonwood Fire Department. The major threat of human-caused fires are from burning debris that get out of control or improperly extinguished or unattended campfires. Remember that fireworks have no place on our wild lands. Become part of the solution. Learn more about proper fire safety by contacting your local fire department.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. My name is Jason Little, Recreation Manager for the City of Cottonwood. With me today I have Hezekiah Allen, the Aquatics and Special Events Supervisor, and we're talking about rodeos, arenas, cowboys, and just about everything else that involves a horse. Hezekiah, when we went to break, we were talking about the ground and how we have a high quality ground up at the arena. From the time that the arena was initially built, how far have we came?
You know, when we first got that facility, actually the lease ground, there was an existing system on there that was tore down. We had American Fence, like I stated before, come in and put the facility up. When we were putting that facility up, I can't tell you how many augers they broke trying to dig through the caliche over there to get those poles concrete into the ground. Got the system up, and then after that, it was a battle to get the ground right. And then we had moved the announcer's podium, so we had to fix the electric. We had to move water. Craig Backus also framed in the announcer's podium, so at the top we have a nice closed-in structure, and at the bottom we have a nice storage structure. And then the Friends of the Arena redone the check-in booth. Then we added the warm-up arena. We painted the bleachers. We've done rock control. It's an onward project.
It sounds like you guys have made quite a bit of progress. Do you have any future plans?
You know, I think, future plans. The Friends of the Arena and the equestrian community locally, they would like to see some stalls put in so they can board horses up there when big events come in. We currently also use the fairgrounds for their boarding facilities, which we really appreciate. And they'd also like to see some RV hookups in the future, maybe some covering over the bleachers to add some shade during programs. I've also heard talk they'd like to pull the bleachers in a little bit because they kind of set far back off the arena to give spectators a little more of a view.
Yeah, I didn't quite count the number of times you've mentioned the Friends of the Arena. Who exactly are the Friends of the Arena?
You know, it was a group that came together that had a passion for the equestrian world. They live it, they breathe it, they love it, and they truly enjoy the arena. And some of them were big backers in promoting the facility to be built and pitching it to the city council. So when the barrel series got switched over to this group, they came up with the nonprofit name of Friends of the Arena, and they basically support the facility. They do a lot of volunteer work throughout the year, and they're really our backbone.
So the Friends, the Parks and Recreation Department, the MBHA, and America West, they all partner together for some barrel races. Can you explain that? Yeah,
NBHA and America West, it gave us a lot of credibility. NBHA is the largest barrel organization in the United States. They have 23,000 members. Their national office is in Augusta, Georgia, and they were founded in 1992. So with that NBHA name backing us, you know, it adds, like I said, a lot of credibility. Julie Rainwater came forward to help us run the programs. And she's got a huge network. She's been in the barrel racing community for a long time. We all know that it's tough to market to a specific organization or a crowd unless you're in that crowd, and she brings that to us.
Okay, now I've heard you mention barrel races on multiple occasions too. What is a barrel race, and if you're a contestant, what are you thinking when you enter the arena?
You know, when you first come to a facility, if you've never ran in that facility, typically a barrel racer will not push it on the first couple times out. Like I said, they've got expensive horses, they've got a lot invested in this horse. So they'll go out and they'll feel the ground out, and some horses will bank to the left or some horses will bank to the right. And then when they go around the barrel, they want to dig in and then come off that barrel, aim towards the next barrel. If you go to a barrel race, if you've never been to one, you'll hear a lot of contestants saying, "Look, look, look." And so that means when they come out of the barrel, they're looking towards the next barrel, and they got the horse pointed in the right direction.
Now, I understand this arena can host a multitude of different events. What are some others that they can host?
When the facility was built, I know there are conversations of, you know, what kind of attractions, what kind of mechanical devices do we include in the facility. And I know the big push was we want a fully functional rodeo ground that can hold roping events, rough stock events, timed events, and anything else that can come to us. We've even in the past held mounted cowboy shooting, which is kind of a neat program.
Similar to any other special event, there's a lot of programming that goes on before the event and behind the scenes. What does it take to program for a rodeo?
You know, I just met with Bob and Daria because there had been talks about kind of doing a fundraiser for the arena. Whether it'll happen or not, we'll see. But from what I gather, $12,000 up front. You got to have your stock contractor on board. You got to have your insurance, and then you got to usually try to affiliate with another program that's going on so you can get the numbers. And then you have to have your payouts and your buckles, your secretary, your rodeo clown, your announcer. There's a lot that goes on to put on these rodeo type events. And myself, you know, when you attend them, you're like, oh, cool, rough stock, it was neat, but you don't see the back scenes, what happens to make these things successful.
What are some of the intangible benefits that an entity like the city benefits or gleans from hosting, maintaining, and operating a rodeo facility like this?
Yeah, like we were talking about previously, when this junior high school rodeo came in on the 24th and 25th, you know, the city invested a lot of time to make that facility what it should be, what it needs to be to attract these types of events. And I think we were all kind of like, I hope this pays off, I hope we get the numbers. But when you have 300 families that travel around, and this is what they do, and they're rolling in with big rigs and 38-foot trailers with living quarters, and they're staying for an entire weekend, they're buying diesel, they're going out to eat, they're buying groceries, they're going to the hay and feed stores. That's a huge influx of sales tax for a weekend. And then also on the flip side of that, you hope that, you know, when we were talking to a lot of people that came up for that program, they stated, I've been to Cottonwood a long time ago, but it's been a while since I've been back. I can't believe how much it's grown. We're going to come back again.
That's fantastic, and let's hope they do. Hezekiah, we got about 10 seconds here. How many events do you have upcoming in the next 6 months?
You know, we got the Grand Canyon Pro Rodeo for the Verde Valley Fair. If you guys haven't heard about that, look them up online, Verde Valley Fair. And then we've also got some barrel races coming up, April 21st, May 19th, and June 23rd. And then later on in the year, we have a junior rodeo coming into town.
Well, thanks to all of those who tuned in. If you have any questions, please give Hezekiah Allen a call at the Parks and Recreation Department, 928-639-3200. And also this calling to let us know what you think about the show. Anyway, thanks for tuning in once again, and we hope to see you soon.